Hello and welcome to the second episode of Tumorously Yours. We're back again. I'm Tamanna,
And I'm Adnan.
And
and
I'm
we're
Ram
here.
Athavale.
Yes, and we would like to introduce you. And we have with us Colonel Ram Athavale, who has another very inspiring story to share, and which we hope will bring to you a new perspective, a new inspiration, and definitely many reasons to smile. So, welcome, Ram Uncle, and
Thank
thank you for
you.
doing this.
Thank you for getting me on this show.
So, we want to start with the listeners to know a little bit about you. So, if you could tell us about yourself, what you do, where you're from.
Okay. Well, I'm a third generation Army officer from the Indian Army. I served in the Indian Armored Corps and I commanded a tank regiment in 2002, 2005. I've been posted to many places all over India, and my dad was also in the Army, so I've actually toured most of India by now. I also specialized in chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear security while in service. I hold a PhD. We call it CBRN. So in CBRN counterterrorism, and I'm now retired. And I am a professor and a consultant in CBRN security and incident management in many universities, both in India and abroad. I'm a graduate from the National Defense Academy. I'm also an alumni of the Indian Military Academy, the Army War College, the Defense Institute of Armament Technology. I like to read, I like to write. I have been authoring a whole lot of papers and articles on CBRN related issues.
And he has written a book which has
Yes.
been published. I'm sure I speak for the both of us when I say that we are feeling very privileged to be in front of someone who's done so many things in life.
Yeah, honestly, I think when I first met you, Uncle, I was like, how have you done so much?
So, getting right to it, you had mentioned that you had no symptoms when you were diagnosed with cancer and that you discovered it through a regular health checkup. So, could you elaborate a little bit on that and maybe tell us what cancer you had, what stage, all of that?
Okay. Firstly, as a rule, we in the family carry out an annual medical checkup. We used to do it in the armed forces because the forces demanded that. But after retirement, also we continued to do that. Due to COVID, for 1 year, we couldn't get these tests done. So our daughter literally forced us that you better get your test done. And a slight increase in the creatinine levels. So we went to the doctor and the doctor said, let's do a scan. And we did the scan and he was shocked. He says, first, let's go to the oncologist. I said, why? What's wrong? He says, you need to get a biopsy done. There's a big lump inside somewhere. It came as a shock, and I was going for my normal walk and jog and everything, and I had no symptoms whatsoever. So when we went to the oncologist, he checked all the results of the CT scan and he said, yes, you need to get a biopsy done immediately. So we consulted the oncologist. He recommended the biopsies. So we also got the test done, the biopsy confirmed from Mumbai. That was also confirmed as non-Hodgkins lymphoma. So it's supposed to be one of the most common cancers prevalent. And I was told it's also one of the most treatable cancers going around. So it was stage 4. Then of course, the treatment started and the chemos and all that. It took us about 24 hours to come to terms with what is happening. And so I asked my oncologist a very interesting and a straight question. What is the life expectancy? So he said, look, NHL cases, which is non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, it is normally about 70%. I said, great, I am in the first 70, the surviving ones.
I have many questions. First, I'm going to ask you about the first part of your answer. Like you said, you've always been a fit person, actually an inspiration to me, and I'm sure many people who see you for looking great at any age. But do you think fitness played a role in helping you fight it?
Yes. You see, the armed forces train you to be fit, and not just physically. It is the mental fitness, which that robustness in your mind, which is built up right through your training and everything, that tells you, look, you got to keep fighting. I mean, there's so much more to be done and to be seen and to be experienced and enjoyed. You just can't let go. I had rock solid support from the family, and
So, Uncle, you said the armed forces help you like not only with the physical fitness, but the mental rigor needed to like approach such a big challenge in life. Is there anything else which the armed forces taught you which helped you in this journey of cancer?
yeah, another thing is to brave the odds. You don't get deterred by knowing what is wrong. You face that. I asked the doctor exactly what is happening, and I actually, from the internet, I took down a diagram of the insides, and I took it to the doc and I drew a little pattern and asked him, is this where it is? Is this how the it looks, what size and all? So he corrected it slightly and he says, this is what it is. So I realized, okay, he's doing his best and I should do my best. And then we leave it to God.
What a great way to put it.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that your doctor was lovely about answering all the questions. I did the same thing. I had a list of 16 questions that I went to the doctor with, and I said, you have to answer them point by point with a pen and paper I had gone. So, of course, it's a very tough physical journey, but it also has a large impact on mental health, right? And especially for a patient. Like you said, you took second opinions, you asked many questions to get knowledge. Having a good doctor, having a family who deals with the disease positively. I feel like all of these are important aspects of how you feel and how you approach cancer as well. So, can you tell us a little bit about your mental health during the treatment and how all of these factors did or did not help you?
You see, there is a unfortunate uh, feeling of, that everything is lost in the society actually. Oh, cancer ho gaya. Oh no, God. It happened with my mother. My mother also had cancer long back. She had a breast cancer
Breast
mastectomy
cancer.
done. And initially, when people used to come to look her up and all her, friends, one particular lady who used to come and, she used to talk a lot. And she used to say, अच्छा, आपको ऐसे हो गया? So and so को भी हो गया था, वो तो गुजर गई.
Yeah.
So we sort of, curtailed visitors
Hmm.
coming
That
to
is
me.
the best thing to do. Yeah.
We said no. And we selected, okay, one or two aunties who we knew are going to pepper up. Only them are allowed, nobody else.
So, Uncle, when you said you curtail the visitors, did you get like any backlash because of this?
No, we used the excuse of the doctor. We said,
Okay.
डॉक्टर ने बोला है ज्यादा लोगों से नहीं मिलना है तो
Acha.
डॉक्टर ने मना किया है. It was a very simple way to go about it and a very acceptable way to go about it, and so we did that. The second thing is, that it is more the family than the patient who go through a trauma. It is the kind of harassment that the family goes through. They have to go through their normal lives plus also cater for your well-being,
Hmm.
and also the mental trauma that, oh, what has happened, and how to cope with this, because you're not answering the questions, they are answering the questions for you.
And a
And
bunch of people looking at them like, oh, you poor thing, are having to
yeah,
suffer so much,
yeah,
which is also so tough.
every 10 minutes somebody is telling you, oh, क्या हुआ, तू कैसे कर रही है, क्या कर. So
Ah,
I think handling that requires a little bit of diplomacy and at times a stern kind of a method. And what happens is there's a flip side to that also. It
Hmm.
leads to a lot of loneliness. At times you need somebody close to talk to,
Hmm.
get your feelings out. For me, my wife was there, my daughter was there. I could, call them and tell them this is what is happening. But they couldn't come to me to share their anxieties because I'm already down. If they come and share their anxieties with me, it becomes a problem. So whom do they go to? But what needs to be seen is that and understood is that the family is also going through trauma. It's not just the patient. The family needs to get time to individually deal with that. They need a little their own time, kind of a thing.
Hmm.
At the same time, they need to be given time off from continuously looking after the patient to be able to go and do the other things outside. So one of my cousins, she used to come and she used to tell my wife, like, I'm going to come on so and so date, going to come with the food, and you are not going to cook,
Hmm.
and I will sit with Ram, and you are going to go out of the house. And the biggest help that we got was from Manjusha's sister. who actually came and stayed for a month. Yeah.
But from your answer, I'm realizing that there's so much empathy involved in what you felt, what they felt. Everyone had so much empathy in the way they've dealt with it, because for you to look beyond your pain and say no, but it's difficult for them, or the fact that for them to look at, like for auntie's sister to look at it that no, you need that break, get out. It's so much empathy. I absolutely love it. Also, these are the little things that bring normalcy to some extent, right? The good
Yeah.
food you eat, the kind of people you meet, the little laughs you have in the middle. It kind of feels that okay, it's not so bad.
And I really like the fact that you guys understood as a family that this is very hard and a break is necessary. Because a lot of times we feel guilty that, oh my God, like, someone in my family is going through something so hard like cancer. I shouldn't take a break. I should just keep giving and giving and giving. But that giving also needs to have a break so that you can continue giving. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you'll break, right? Like,
Yeah. You need a recouping period,
Ah,
last year, my main chemos were over and maintenance chemos had started. And the maintenance chemos had a gap of 2 months. Doc told us कि आप क्या कर रहे हो? आप क्यों पूना में बैठे हो? अब जाओ
To jump.
घूमो. He says meet people, go out, take precautions, enjoy yourself.
Also, the fact that because the world already, I feel, is making you feel like, oh my God, the biggest problem has hit you. When your family or the people you're seeing every single day are making it to some extent normal, then it feels like, okay, I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to be okay. But when somebody's constantly looking at you like a patient, then it starts doubting yourself also. Okay,
Yeah,
maybe I won't. I don't know how this will work. So
exactly. And that feeling used to come when I used to go for the chemos. You have other patients around you. Like we had a daycare unit where there were beds next to each other, who have varying degrees of the illness and the type of treatment they're going through. Everybody's chemo protocol is different. There are no two patients who have got the same thing. But there you see there are some people who are, down mentally and physically, more mentally. That is the time I felt that here is the place where you require a bit of, I won't say counseling, but some hand holding here.
so,
Yeah.
Ankur, I actually want to circle back to something you mentioned before, right? So you said there was a lot of loneliness involved, right? Because you're by yourself, and that itself can take a toll on how we feel about everything. What kind of thoughts would go in your head when you would just like be by yourself, and like what did you do to like fill your time, or how did you deal with those thoughts?
Firstly, I continued on WhatsApp. I
Okay.
didn't switch off from WhatsApp, but I used to keep it more of a one-way kind of a thing. Read what is coming, and maybe an odd this thing. I'm fine. I'm in good hands. That kind of a thing. But what I did most was I used to read and I used to keep my laptop with me. You'll be surprised to note that throughout my chemos in that 1 year, I single handedly conducted as an instructor a postgraduate diploma course which was being run by Pune University on CBRN, threats, and national security, including making the syllabus. And it was all online. So I was doing it from home, and we had classes 3 days a week. I used to time it in such a manner that because I had my chemos spaced out 2 days every month,
2 days every
two
month.
consecutive days every month. So what happened was I got a month between two chemos. And the first about 10, 12 days were pretty bad. I mean, I couldn't focus on anything. But the second 15 days, the fortnight, was pretty okay. I mean, I could sit and focus and use my laptop and fine. I couldn't go out for a jog, but at least I could do that much. Well, you had to go through it, and because you could see the light at the end of the tunnel, and your focus was that light.
So, Uncle, when you say that there is this 12 days and then you start recouping, so like how do you change this mindset then, right? Because you're in such a low mindset, and then your body starts feeling better, but then you say, as you said, it's like a mental battle also. So then how do you motivate yourself to like, okay, come on, get up, let's do this by myself. Like, how does that change happen?
Yeah. So right from beginning, I had decided that I will not get cowed down by the thought, oh, मेरे को कैंसर हो गया अब क्या करेंगे मर गया तो So, it's very normal for such thoughts to come to your mind. The thought was, yes, I can go through this. I can cope up with this. And why not make the best of it? Why think about something negative about this? Of course, at times at night, sometimes it used to come to me. You look at your family and you feel कि यार कल कुछ हो गया मेरे को तो क्या करना है, things like that. But I used to shut that out as far as possible and think of कि कहाँ जाना है, क्या करना है, how to next holiday, where are we going, that kind of a thing, and it helped. And
So,
just to share a little funny thing with you all. Uh, as I told you, I'm a specialist in chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear security, CBRN. So I had a bio inside me, which was being treated by a chemical inside me. They also used to have some kind of a radiation put in when they used to do PET scan and all those kinds of things.
right.
So practically, I was a CBRN man, not just by mind, but also by body now. And that was something which it just caught on in my mind. Okay, I am now a true CBRN man.
In your next class, you must say that I'm not just your CBRN professor, I'm also a CBRN man in and out. Okay, so I want to change direction slightly, and I want to ask you a question that is a little personal, but I'm hoping you'll want to talk to us about it. So, just for the listeners to know, Ram Uncle's daughter Urvashi is one of my closest friends, like a sister to me, and her wedding was amidst this treatment, and we saw you go through quite a bit health wise those few days of her wedding, and only if you're comfortable, but we want to know how you felt in that time, because it's definitely an important juncture for you as well, right, for your daughter to be getting married. So what was going on in like your heart, your mind? How did you deal with it? Because I remember, just I want to say this for Adnan also to know, there was the cocktail party that was happening, and we wanted uncle to really dance at it because we were all dancing at it, and he didn't have the energy, but he came in for about 15 seconds and he danced his heart out, and everybody had tears in their eyes because we were just amazed at the energy he brought when he came there. And I want to know what you were feeling and how you were dealing with it all those days.
Firstly, I was down since September. My main chemos had stopped and my maintenance chemos had started off, which was every 2 months. And I was perfectly normal and fine. And we went out on a holiday to UK, and then with Urvashi, we went to Delhi and Amritsar and all that kind of thing. I was perfectly fine and moving around, totally normal. And the main part of it was over because the main chemos had stopped, and like I was on my way to normalcy. And after the fourth maintenance chemo, there was a cough system, some chest infection started off. And that took me down so much. It never happened throughout my main chemos. The way I lost weight, the way I lost energy was something which unnerved me actually. And I said, look, I have gone through the worst, and now what is happening? And I just couldn't cope with that. And I was like bedridden for almost a month, totally bedridden. And that was the peak time when Manjusha and Urvashi were going around, my wife and daughter, they were going around uh, doing all the shadi ka tayari.
Yeah.
And I was feeling so bad. I wanted to do so much and I just couldn't get up from my bed. So I did all the software work which I could, making Excel sheets, lists, this, that, contacting people on telephone. But going to the venues and tying up with the decorator and the caterer and band and this and that and all, it was quite harrowing. And uh, hats off to both of them. And I say the wedding went off because of both of them only. As the wedding came closer, the function started off, and so I, forced myself to develop that much of energy that I have to be present at every function and I need to smile. So I got that in my mind. And although, frankly speaking, I couldn't enjoy those events because I was physically present, but mentally I was still groggy. I would slump down. The day we had the incident which Tamanna was mentioning, we had the cocktail party in the evening. We were there, all decked up. I was also ready in a new suit and everything. And I was sitting in one side, watching all the show that was going on. And I like to dance. I saw everybody dancing, and I said, "यार बेटी की शादी में नहीं नाचेंगे तो कब नाचेंगे?
बेटी की शादी में बाप नहीं नाचेगा तो कौन नाचेगा?
कौन नाचेगा?"
हाँ.
And I said nothing doing, and I just left everything, and I went up to the stage, and people were saying, "No, no, no, wait, wait, wait," and all. I said, "No, nothing." And I went up on the stage and I let go. By the way, it was more than 15 seconds.
It was the most beautiful letting go ever.
And
Ever.
I realized that if I get myself to do it, I can do it.
And
And
everybody danced with him.
yeah,
Everybody. Wherever they were sitting in the entire garden, everybody danced in their respective
nobody
places.
expected it. Nobody expected it. My condition was such that nobody was expecting that. I was barely able to move around actually. I was climbing stairs with help and things like that. And here I went up on stage and I was like doing all the steps and
So, Uncle, actually, I want to ask you something. So, I've noticed a trend in the way you've dealt with your situations, right? When you got diagnosed with cancer, you just had the resolve, no, I'm going to beat it. Then again, something happened in between, the changing from the feeling down for 12 days, but then starting to feel good. You're like, no, I just have to feel good. When it came to your daughter's wedding, you're like, no, I have to dance because I just decided so. So, there's a very strong resolve you have. And that is very much needed to fight cancer. How would someone build this resolve?
okay. Uh, Firstly, it's not just yours. It's not your doing only. You require family support with that. You require friend support with that. It's a collective kind of a feeling that needs to come in that yes, you are going to get through that. You need to have if I may use the Urdu word, mahal around you
Mm.
to give you
Yeah.
that positivity. I'll give you
Yeah.
another example of this. We have in our bedroom, we have a one side is all windows. And what my wife did was she put flower pots in that window with bright different colored flowers. She says when you get up in the morning, you must see brightness, some color, something growing.
Love it. Okay, so last question. It has two parts to it. The first part is, what is the one thing that you have learned from your cancer journey? And second is that the fact that going through cancer post your 50s is a lot tougher. So, what is the one advice you have for someone who gets diagnosed after their 50s?
And there are two, 3 points I would like to. The first is, of course, like I mentioned, your mental fitness. Physical fitness is getting affected because of chemo. So your mental fitness, mental robustness, a positive outlook is very, very important. Not just you, but people surrounding you. The second thing is your diet. You need to keep maintaining the kind of energy giving food that you require to get you out of this treatment. And the third is listen to your doctor. Your doctor knows best.
So
Yeah.
just to recap what you said, Uncle, it was the first thing is environment of positivity, the diet, and then follow your doctor. These three
Yeah.
things, just hands down, do it.
Thank you so much for taking out the time to talk to us, for being an inspiration, for showing this absolute zealousness and resolve towards dealing with anything that comes your way. Thank you so
Thank,
much.
thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Have a good day. Look at it as a phase. Look at it as a small obstacle that you need to cross. You have to cross it. You can't let go. It's just a stream. It's not a mighty river, and you need to look at it that way.